folks, Happy New Year! Scott here with my 10 cards from the Love from Lizi January 2018 card kit. This is her New Beginnings card kit. This kit is a riot of bright colors and fun images. I had a great time with this kit. I'm sorry this is late. I did some traveling over the holidays. As usual, I stamped all of the images from this great little stamp set. I stamped them with my Simon Says stamp ink on some Bristol Smooth cardstock, and I colored them up using my Spectrum Noir markers and also my chameleon pen from this kit, which was Tangerine. I colored this little lady's dress in orange, and I colored the little boy's shorts in orange, Tangerine. So I fussy cut all of these images out and dug into my cards. The first thing that really drew my eye, and I think you noticed in my unboxing, was the Ladybug die cut. I thought she was great and was so detailed for a little small wafer die. So I wanted to do something with that ladybug. One of the cutouts from the sheet was red, so of course I put the ladybug on this cutout. This is Dream Big Little One. This is a cutout from the sheet that's matted on the green Harlequin pattern paper and outlined with those great grass green mirror peel-offs. I put that all on the vanilla card base and had a great time playing with this die. Now I cut the main die out of a dark blue that I had, cut another piece out of the red, and then fussy cut a black background for the body. I used my enamel drops, my white and black Ranger enamel drops, to color in the black spots and the white spots. I really had a good time working on this ladybug. I think she looks really cool. I did, of course, cover her up with a couple of layers of glossy accents and mounted her up on foam on the front of this card. Dream Big Little One. I think that works with the oversized ladybug up in the corner. I did add some more of the grass green mirror peel-offs along the edges. I like doing these partial frames. I think they really focus the eye in towards your focal point while still keeping the card fairly light and unencumbered. This is our first card. Pretty simple. Dream Big Little One, one of the cutouts from the cutout sheets. Now, I was drawn to the building blocks. On the back side of one of the cut-apart sheets was these building blocks stacked in towers and towers and towers. So, of course, I guess being a guy, I was drawn to those building blocks. And I fussy cut a bunch of them apart and created this card. This is, again, that same sentiment, Dream Big Little One. This is stamped from the stamp in the kit. This is stamped in the Fired Brick Distress Oxide ink and then embossed with some clear embossing powder. You can see a little shine there. This is the young man I colored. These are all of the cut-out pieces of those building blocks. I looked for pattern paper that would work with these and couldn't really find anything that wasn't too busy, so I just used another piece of that scrapbook pattern page. So that included some background blocks. Of course, our little boy and these front blocks are all mounted with foam tape. This main background piece is cut out with one of my Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle dies. I did, of course, use my Sakura black glaze pen on his eyes to give him a little dimension and a little shine. Love the colors in this kit. This is all on the slate gray card base. I think this little fellow looks very satisfied standing on top of his tower of blocks. Let's see what we can do with the little girl. Now, this is on the sky blue card base, and I was interested in having our little girl dream about something other than dolls. So this is our little sailor girl. Let your dreams set sail. That's a sentiment from the stamp set, stamped in Simon Says stamp intense black ink, just on a scrap of white cardstock, trimmed into a banner shape. I took that great alphabet pattern paper and die cut that again with my stitched rectangle die. used some of the Broken China Distress Oxide ink to ink around the edges of that. I did take that blue border strip from the sticker sheet. That's the blue border strip from the sticker sheet. I took a little 1/2-inch circle punch from my stash and just cut a scallop on the top edge of that to give me some fake little water at the bottom. I did attach that to this pattern paper before I cut everything out with my stitched rectangle die, so that continues the little stitched edge all along the bottom. Now, what I really like about this card is I made a little paper hat for the little girl. Oh, she's so cute, holding her little ship. These, of course, are stamps from the kit. I looked through the paper to see what the smallest possible type was in the paper, and it may be a little morbid, but it was actually the obituaries were printed very small. So I thought scale-wise it worked very good. I just folded a simple newspaper hat, put it on her head. That's my little girl dreaming of becoming a sailor or a captain. Let your dreams set sail. A few sequins from the New Beginning sequin mix adds a little sparkle to this card. Now, Lizzie said she included some pink ribbon and this pink specialty embossed mottled paper, specifically for me because I like pink so much. So I knew I had to tackle the pink. So, of course, pink and green always go good together. So on the apple green card base, we come up with You Are Loved. This is one of the vellum pieces. I really liked this piece. This is a great sentiment, embossed with that silver foil. You Are Loved. I did send that through my Xyron sticker maker and mounted it to a plain scrap of white cardstock. I matted that on that pink mottled specialty paper behind that. Of course, outlined it again with the green peel-offs and mounted that whole piece up with some foam tape onto my card base. Now, I took that pink ribbon and I did send it through my Xyron sticker maker and made sure that it was burnished down really well, and then outlined just 2 sides of the card with that. I like this ribbon. I mitered the corner with my craft knife, tied a little bow, and added that to the corner. 3 little gems at the bottom, and a couple of spots of the Nouveau jewel drops. I haven't seen the jewel drops before. This is my first jewel drops in my stash. They went very well with this card. You Are Loved. Here's my pink, green, and yellow Valentine card. Much more of a Valentine card than a kid card. I actually like these pinks. It's bright and eye-popping. You Are Loved. So back to the sky blue card base. There was one cut apart that I adored. It had a really long sentiment, but I had to use it. I think parents are the unsung heroes of all time. This is that great sentiment. They may not remember all of the details of the story, but they'll remember who took the time to read it to them. So that's the cutout from the cut-apart sheet. I mounted that on top of the silver pearlescent specialty cardstock. I took that bookcase pattern paper, and there was a single sliver down the center of that, not a sliver, a good wide piece, that didn't have any of the ABCs on it. So I cut that strip out. I added a little piece of the silver pearlescent to the edges just to kind of finish off the edge of that bookshelf. And then I went in and colored a couple more of the boy and girl stamps. Now, I was interested in trying to put a little ethnicity into my kids. I started looking through my stash and realized that other than the Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus that I got last month from the Simon Says Stamp Kit, these are the first people stamps that I actually own. So these are actually the first people that I'm really coloring. So I did some experimentation. I think I got a really nice, very medium dark tone to these kids. I did color up the book, stamp and fussy cut that out as if you are reading to the kids right there. A few of the Nouveau Crystal Drops, a couple of sequins and stars from the sequin mix. A great card. This is for the parents. This one's not for the kids. Okay, so most of you know that I like to take the vellum pieces from Lizi's kit and print my own sentiments on them and do some foiling with my deco foil, my laser printer at work. I wanted to use the little Humpty Dumpty from the vellum piece, but as you can see, my printer really messed up. I did not get a good print. So there's one vellum piece that is totally fakakta. However, there was a cut-apart piece that was the same thing. I'm actually glad I used this piece instead of the vellum because the egg reads so much better. This is my little Humpty Dumpty, a small pun, very age-appropriate. You crack me up, and that's no yoke. This is obviously Humpty moments before his accident. So this is that whole cutout piece. I mounted this directly to my sunshine yellow card base, outlined that with the green peel-offs, of course. I took 2 strips of the rainbow pattern paper and cut them down to fill in the front of this card. You crack me up, and that's no yoke. A great age-appropriate pun, a simple happy birthday inside. This sentiment I did on my silhouette. This is, of course, wait for it, the Brady Bunch remastered font. It's good to get back to that font. Humpty, just before his great fall, a good happy birthday card. Of course, all of these dream cards are very appropriate for birthdays or almost any occasion. So we got those great large wood veneer alphabet of lowercase letters. I didn't know what to do with those. I went round and round and round, and finally, of course, the kit started speaking to me, and this is what we come up with. Dream big. I really, really like this card a lot. I covered the BING wood veneer pieces with that rainbow stripe pattern paper. I took great care to make sure that all of the stripes lined up on those letters. I thought that would give us the biggest bang for the buck. All I did was attach my wood veneer pieces down to a grid and then glued the top of them and laid the pattern paper over the top so that it was in line with the grid on my mat and lined up perfectly. Let that dry completely before I trimmed that out with my craft knife. So that was actually much easier than you may think it was. I also, of course, went in and added 2 layers of glossy accents. I don't think I've used as much glossy accents in my life as I've used on this card set. These are big and chunky, absolutely great. They look like large enamel stickers. Great fun. Dream big. This dream is from the sticker sheet, from the alphabet part of the sticker sheet. I thought the alphabet was a little hard to use because it was gray. The letters were gray, so they didn't show up really well on lighter cardstocks. This again is on that vanilla card base. So I simply took a silver Sharpie and colored them in, and it stands out just perfectly fine here. I did cut a frame using 2 of my stitched rectangle dies. I love these are Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle dies. I love these dies. If you get both the large and the small set, they nestle into each other perfectly. So this will give you an excellent frame. This is from the Silver Mirror cardstock. I think that sets off our bright rainbow big perfectly. Dream big, and boy, that big is big. I really like this card. Fairly simple, but big bang for the buck here, folks. Dream big. So I fiddled around with the puffy star trim that came with our trims. We had a whole yard of that puffy star trim. And ultimately, they kept reminding me of Mylar balloons, We also had a balloon die in the kit, so I figured it was time to pull out all the stops and throw a great big birthday party. So here we have a great happy birthday card featuring the little girl stamp. I colored her up. She's got some red hair, a little purple dress. Fussy cut all of the other toys that I had. Now it almost gets lost behind all of the party accessories down here, but I did fussy cut that pattern paper because it reminded me of a picket fence, actually. So I fussy cut that out, and you can see some points of the pickets sticking up in the back. But I used that pattern paper for a little background there. I actually got a new Lawn Fawn grassy border die that I used with the green pattern paper and cut a little grassy border there, attached that with foam tape, slid all of the toy pieces behind that and my little girl. There's actually the present, the wood veneer present that I added a little white bow to the top of that. That's from the trim in the kit. I cut apart the little silver puffy trim and added some white, plain white twine from my stash to that. So they're holding up a little banner. This is a happy birthday banner. I actually got this stamp from Lawn Fawn this last month for my birthday. Happy birthday, Scott. Happy birthday, a nice little stamp. I stamped that on some scrap white cardstock, cut that out with a Doris banner die, very simple banner die, attached the Mylar balloons to that to hold it up in the air. I also, of course, took the balloon die and cut that out of some pieces of the pattern papers, some pieces of the vellum, some pieces of the cut-aparts, just to get different colors. I did find that if you cut the balloon out of white and flipped it over, it made a perfect background for these balloons. So in order to fill in that little white highlight, just cut another balloon in white, flip it around to the backside and glue it on. That fills in that space perfectly. Used some more of that white twine to connect the balloons down to the little girl's hand. This is actually the little silver bear charm here. She's got lots of presents, a rocking horse's candy gift, her little doll. I did take the wood veneer party hat, added one of the pom-poms from the pom-pom trim to the top. This is very fun, a very busy. Let me tell you, this little girl is one lucky girl. She's got one heck of a birthday party going on for her. A nice happy birthday card featuring the young lady, a little redhead. So even I can get tired of this perfect riot of colors and bright sentiments. So I had to do a card for us adults. And this is on the slate gray card base. Follow your dreams. A little monochrome card here, stepping away from all of the bright colors. I did take the graphite shimmer paper. This was one of the pieces of the specialty paper from the kits. Took that graphite shimmer paper and cut that out again with my stitched rectangle die. Mounted that to my card base. This is that scallop border sticker from the sticker sheet. I pulled that out and just trimmed it down to fit in between the stitch marks on my background. And then I took the little pom-poms from the trim and tucked them down between each of the scallops. I think that adds a nice little touch and actually kind of looks like clouds or pillows. So follow your dreams. This is the alphabet stickers from the kit. Those are not colored. Those are the actual colors of the alphabet stickers from the kit. Works very well on very dark cardstock behind there. Follow your dreams. You can read that just fine. I did dip into my Love from Lizi stash from the past for some silver glitter peel-offs to underline that sentiment. Works perfectly, adds a little bit of sparkle. Follow your dreams, except for that one where you fly. That never ends well. That makes me giggle a lot. Fun sentiment, a great little joke there, and a monochromatic card. This made me very happy, and the sentiment makes me giggle a lot. So we get down to card number 10. This is, once again, on the apple green cardstock. I haven't used the rocket stamp yet. So let's use the rocket and the boy. And we come up with this great interactive card. May your dreams take flight. Now that sentiment was featured on one of the vellum pieces that had a kite on it. I went ahead and mounted that vellum with my Xyron sticker maker to a piece of white cardstock, and then cut that out of the vellum piece with my Spellbinder's decal rectangle die. That cut that right out perfectly. I colored up another young boy and fussy cut him out. I took that green Harlequin pattern paper and used my stitched hillside die to cut a little hillside out of that. And I, of course, cut out the little spaceship. Now there's a pull tab on this. You can see the little slit, and we do get a takeoff. All the way to the top. I adore this card. I love it so much. He does repark himself. One of my greatest accomplishments with this card was making the flame on the rocket hide behind the grassy knoll. So when he parks himself, there's no flame on the rocket. When he takes off, boom, there's his flame. There's the exhaust coming from his flame. Oh, so much fun. I spent hours on this card. Everybody's seen the magic slider cards where you pull one side of the card and something else comes out of the other side. You pull one side of the card and something else comes out of the other side. Now this is the exact same principle, shrunk down a little bit and applied to this. Now I cut a little sliver through the front of the card here in order to get a little paper hinge to go through and hang on to the rocket ship. So you've got let your dreams take flight, boom, he takes off and he lands again. I, of course, outlined everything with the grass green mirror peel-offs for a little sparkle. I covered the sentiment with my Spectrum Noir sparkle pen, a little black glaze on the eyes. Everything's mounted on foam tape. Now that I know that I can adapt the magic slider card into moving something on the front of a card, I may never go back to those straight run penny slider cards again. I adore this card. I love the rocket ship. I love the action. A good interactive card here for us to wrap up this card kit. May your dreams take flight. This pull, I stamped pull on my little tab here. That's from a new My Favorite Things interactive labels stamp set. This was very inexpensive. I used that. That's my pull down here. I, of course, used my 1/2-inch hole punch to make the little finger notches down here. May your dreams take flight. One more time. I just drew little clouds on the tab as it comes out of the bottom. I love this card very much. I hope you enjoy it too. As usual with Lizi's kits, I have tons and tons and tons of leftovers. I did use just about a little bit of just about everything in the kit. I did not get to the little chalkboard tags, so those are still in my stash. I didn't get to the chalkboard tags. I didn't get to the bow die cut, but I used a little bit of everything from our accessories bag. I used a little bit of everything else. I've got some pattern paper left. There's some more stamps. Of course, these green peel-offs. I used some of the gems. I used a little bit. Actually, I didn't use any of the white specialty paper. So I've got this whole piece left. I have a big chunk of this pink mottled specialty paper left over. I like this color. I will use it. I used only about half of the pattern papers. I love this yellow stripe. I just didn't get around to using it. A lot of these pattern papers are pretty busy and just didn't seem to fit in with what I was trying to do with this kit. But I've got these in my stash. My chameleon pen, of course, and that great stamp set featuring the kids. Well, thank you, folks. This is my 10 cards from the Love from Lizi, January 2018. Happy New Year, folks. It's good to be back. It's good to be rolling again. Thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your time with me. I hope you enjoyed. This kit has sold out, as most of her monthly kits do. If you want to get in on the fun, I do suggest that you subscribe. Lizi has just gotten her affiliate links up and working, so I will have my affiliate link up in my description. If you are going to buy anything on Love from Lizi, please use my affiliate link. I'm dying to see how it all works. Well, thank you for joining me today, folks. It's always a pleasure to share my time with you. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like me, list me, pin me, post me, share me with all your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. Happy New Year and happy crafting. For more detailed information on these cards, better pictures, and product links, please visit my website at www.cardcutups.com.